So today I'm going to be talking about evidence of evolution in embryology, fossils, and vestigial structures. So in embryology, it shows evidence of evolution because one example is in humans, fish, birds, and amphibians. They have pharyngeal pouches, and these pouches appear during the pharyngeal phases of development, even in species who don't have gills as adults like humans. And in fish, these pouches grow into actual gills, but in humans and other animals, they can grow into different body parts. And another example is that humans, chickens, and frogs all have somite formation in chordates, and somates are blocks of tissues on either side of the developing embryo, and chordates are animals with flexible rods supporting their backs. And in earlier stages of development, the embryo of all chordates develop somite, and somates give structure to muscles and skin. And embryonic development across different species show many similarities, especially in earlier stages, which shows common ancestry. And a lot of embryos have aquatic features but then grow out of them because they're no longer needed. And despite how different these embryos grow to be, the process of somite formation is very similar across the species. And both these examples show the genetic developmental connections between certain species that share a common ancestor, and no matter how they look in adult stages. The common ancestor shows that animals used to have a history of being in the water, but now have adapted to land. And now fossils. Fossils show evidence of evolution, and two examples of this are the Pachycetus and the Tiktaalik. Skeletons found in Pakistan and indicate that the Pachycetus has typical aerodactyl ankles and a typical cetacean skull. This animal was not aquatic, and its ankles are evidence of its running ability, and also its nostrils have evolved into blowholes and are now at the top of the head. Its skull had features with more similar features to modern whales, and the Tiktaalik had fins with structures and it had a neck that is not mostly found in fish. And the Pachycetus is an important transitional fossil that provides evidence for this link between land-living mammals and modern whales, and the Pachycetus evolved. As it evolved, the nostrils gradually moved toward the top of the head, leading to a blowhole that is now seen in modern whales. And certain bones suggest that the Pachycetus was one of the first land mammals to move to aquatic land. And the Tiktaalik shows a transition between fish and tetrapods, which are four-legged vertebrates. And millions of years in the ocean have transformed these whales to better adapt in this new environment. And the Tiktaalik had fins that were used as legs, resembling early developed limbs, which would not support its weight on land. And this fossil is significant for recognizing the evolution of land-living vertebrates and the movement of aquatic to terrestrial life. And both fossils show major evidence of evolutionary changes that express crucial transitions in the history of life on Earth. And the last one is anatomical structures, and I did vestigial structures show evidence of evolution because some examples of this are vestigial structures are the appendix in humans and the pelvic bones in whales. And one example is the appendix is a small tube-like build attached to the large intestine, and pelvic bones in whales. The modern whales have small basic pelvic bones that are remains of their land-living ancestors, and the appendix is considered vestigial because it has no use in the digestive system anymore. But long ago, it did have a use in some herbivorous ancestors who used the appendix to digest plant material. And whales' pelvic bones no longer serve a purpose in their movement because they're no longer land-living, and they're living evidence of the evolution from land mammals to aquatic life. And yeah, this is all evidence of evolution.